Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Matt, and today we're diving into a topic that hits home for a lot of people in the creative community, and that is overcoming imposter syndrome. Whether you're just starting out in your career or an experienced UX UI designer, feeling like a fraud and doubting your skills can be a real struggle. But don't worry, we're here to tackle it head on. By the end of the video today, you'll be equipped with tools and strategies that I've personally used that have helped me overcome imposter syndrome and will help you move forward in your career with confidence. All right, let's go. Okay, so first things first, what exactly is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is essentially that nagging feeling that despite all your achievements and the good things that you do, you're not really competent and that it's just a matter of time before people find out that you're a fraud. It's actually incredibly common, especially in creative fields like ours. According to the American Psychological Society, approximately 82% of people in all career fields experience these feelings of imposter syndrome at some point in their career. So how can you overcome it? I'd like to share what's worked for me over my 16-year career as a UX UI designer. All right, let's break it down. Okay, so step number one is to recognize and acknowledge your feelings. The first step in overcoming imposter syndrome is to recognize that it's actually happening. Okay, so understanding that these feelings are normal and that they actually don't reflect in any way your actual ability. Simply just owning that you're experiencing imposter syndrome can actually help diminish its power over you. So I found that's really helpful. Step number two is to focus on the facts. And what I mean by that is to really think back at either your career or where you're at currently and ask yourself a few questions. You're in the job that you're in because someone or some people believed in you. Whether that be the manager that hired you, whether that be yourself, if you're a freelancer, that you felt like you were capable to actually get out there and run your own business. If you work in an agency and you were hired as an employee, it's like you have people that believed that you could do the job. And you wouldn't be in that job if they didn't think so. So sometimes I find it helpful just to take a step back and have a think like that. And as long as your manager or your boss is not coming to you with concerns around your performance or your output, then chances are you're totally fine. And just to focus on the facts. All right, number three is to track your achievements. And so I find it's a good habit in any career field, but especially in the design field, is to really think about where have you had wins along the way. So is that really good work that your boss or your colleagues praised you for? Do you have clients that really appreciated the work that you put in? Did you receive a nice email or a nice report from any of your clients along the way? Did you win any awards for your work along the way? And I find that these little moments in time that are positives for you, really keep track of them and actually look back. And once you've got enough in that list, it's actually quite a rewarding thing to revisit. So practically, what does that look like? You can keep a journal if you like to write things down manually. I personally keep running notes in my Apple Notes, or I've used Notion in the past as well. Really, whatever works for you, but actually physically writing it down, going through that process, and then being able to come back later on and revisit helps you actually take stock and realize that you're actually doing some really good things. And if you were actually an imposter, then you wouldn't be having those wins along the way. So hopefully that helps you. Okay, point number four, say goodbye to perfectionism. Now, this one is really hard for me and potentially for you as well. As a designer, as a creative, I'm always wanting things to be perfect. And quite frankly, that's just impossible most of the time. We can do our best to put our best foot forward and do our best work, but really at the end of the day, I find that really striving for perfection is actually what potentially can introduce some of these imposter feelings as well. And what I found works for me is to really think about, okay, today, did I give 100%? The fact that I showed up today and gave 100% to my work, to my clients, and that my client was happy with the output. They appreciated the work. They wrote me a lovely email back to say, great work. This is gonna be great for our business. I find that is what I'm defining now as success. And so thinking about perfectionism and is this design the best it can be? It's like, well, yeah, that's a good attitude to have. But there comes a point where we just really need to stop and say, is this done? Is this going to meet the brief? Is it going to do the job? And I feel like that just takes the pressure way down and helps me not have these imposter feelings all the time, like the work isn't good enough and stuff like that. All right, point number 5, comparison can be crippling. So constantly seeing everyone else's best work while trying to do your best, and also being aware of your worst behind the scenes and all the working it out that you do as part of your process, it can really exacerbate feelings of imposter syndrome. I found that looking back at work that you're really proud of can help combat those comparison feelings when they start to creep in. What that can look like is having a really good online portfolio, or if you work for an agency, looking at the agency's portfolio that you might have contributed to along the way. I know that's my story at the moment. I don't have my own portfolio, but I've worked at the agency that I'm at now for the last 11 years. So I just have to pull up my company website and say, wow, the work I did is on here and we're winning new business because of the work that I contributed to. All right, number 6, seek feedback and mentorship. So don't be afraid to reach out for feedback, and that can take the form of, feedback from colleagues. It can be client feedback, feedback from mentors. If you have your own mentor, I encourage that greatly. But yeah, don't be afraid to reach out for that. And constructive criticism is a really good thing in our industry. It's something that can be uncomfortable for us to hear. Like, we always love to hear the praises and we love to hear the good stuff, but actually going to people that you trust, that have your best interest at heart, it's definitely worth it. And I feel like getting that feedback and that insight from people in your safe circle does wonders for your confidence. It does wonders for kind of squashing those imposter feelings, because they can actually point you and show you things that you might not be seeing for yourself. And if there's areas that you can improve, and we can all improve, they can help guide you and make those visible to you. All right, step 7, embrace continuous learning. So in the design field, and especially in the UX UI space, as we all know, stuff is constantly changing. So whether that be Figma is changing and we've got to learn the latest variables or the latest way of working in the application, from technology and AI and all this stuff that's coming at us all the time. Part of the exciting thing, I think, is that our industry isn't stagnant, that there's always things that are moving forward and new things to learn and new things to adopt as part of our workflow. And that can be overwhelming if we don't keep up with it. But I think having a posture of a learning spirit and being open to new ways of working and new ideas can really help, I find, us as designers grow, and it can help us to always be on the path of learning, so that when we look back, it's like, well, we're not stagnating. We're not just sitting here, getting left behind while everybody else is moving forward and doing the latest stuff. I think if we approach learning that way and are on board with it, then we're staying relevant, we're staying up to date, and we're always putting our best foot forward, whatever that is at the time. All right, point number 8 is to go easy on yourself. So really be kind to yourself. Don't take everything so seriously, and to realize that everyone has moments of doubt, but that doesn't actually reflect on your capabilities or your ability as a designer. And so I find that's really helpful to remember. Really treat yourself with the same kind of compassion and approach that you would to a friend if they were coming to you with a similar feeling. What would you say to them? How would you encourage them? And then just try to do that to yourself. I find that just by taking everything down a notch in terms of seriousness helps me. And that's not to say that you don't take your job seriously or that you don't care or that you don't put effort in. But it's at the end of the day thinking about, here I am as a designer solving a problem for a client that's hopefully going to help their business. I'm not a doctor. I'm not saving someone's life. There's nothing urgent about what I'm doing here. And if I come at it with the right attitude and the right mindset, that I can actually help make a difference for our clients' businesses. And that helps me, and hopefully that helps you as well. All right, guys. So remember, feeling like an imposter doesn't define your ability or your worth as a UX UI designer. By recognizing your feelings, focusing on the facts, tracking your achievements, saying goodbye to perfectionism, avoiding unhealthy comparison, seeking feedback, embracing learning, and going easy on yourself, you can build confidence and silence those inner critics. All right, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing for more design tips and updates. As this is a brand new channel, I'm planning to release a new video every 2 weeks, really covering the end-to-end UX UI process and sharing some of my experience from my 16-year career with you. As well, if you feel comfortable, I'd love to hear your experience with imposter syndrome, and you can leave a comment down below, and really let's support each other. All right guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.